to go on the automated people mover onto the airport. Okay? Yes?
Is this facility going to replace seawalk?
Yes, yes.
Can you repeat the
Bridge
question?
over Sepulveda?
Is this facility going to replace seawalk?
Yes. Yes. Did everybody hear that? He asked if this is going to take the place of Lot C. Yes. And the bridge that goes over Sepulveda from that area will be also gone. Yeah.
Okay, what is C-Rock? What is that?
It's a passenger lot that's on Sepulveda and 96.
Long-term parking.
Should we
Long
allow
term.
you to finish the presentation and then ask questions, or do you want to?
No, not a problem. Interrupt me.
Maybe best to
anytime.
hold up the hand just so I have time to get the microphone to you.
Yeah, anytime, not a problem. Okay, so this is a rendering of what that facility will look like. There'll be some concessions in there as well as parking. So it'll be private vehicle parking, connections to shuttles, passenger pickup or drop-off, and amenities such as a waiting area, concessions, ticketing, and information kiosks. Okay, this is the east facility. There is the metro station. This is the Aviation Boulevard. Get off the train and then get onto the people mover. And this is another intermodal transportation facility. So you can see the bus pull up and all the buses here. Now the connection. Okay, working very closely with Metro, as you can see that this is a small version of the airport right here, so you can get an idea about this rail, the Crenshaw line, right here. Okay. And I have a timeline too on this, so I'll get to that in a minute. But as you can see, it will include passenger pickup, drop-off, bike and pedestrian amenities, and relocate the bus services. All the buses, the shuttle buses, the LAX buses that just jam up the central terminal area today, so we're trying to avoid that. Here's another rendering of that connector with the rail. This is the Metro project, and that's what it will look like. Okay. Now, this consolidated rental car facility, you can see that all of these major rental car agencies have bought into this program. And as you can see how they're all spread out, this is the 405. And this is what it looks like today. They're just all over the place. Most of these, I would say probably 90% of them have signed on to accept the design of the central rental car facility. There are some chains that have not at this point, but they're looking to make it attractive for them, so they'll join. So this will be the area where you would rent a car, drop off your car, then proceed on the automated people mover. It would make a stop here at the intermodal transportation facility, then proceed on into which we call the central terminal area, and this rectangular outlines, what the different terminal area looks like. So they're hoping that 18% of the traffic congestion currently traveling into the CTA will be removed. Okay, another rendering of our consolidated rental car facility. This is Century Boulevard right here. This is Aviation. And that La Cienega, and then here's the 405 right there. Okay. Okay. Now, this is a timeline, but this is probably most important to all of us, is the third quarter of 2017 is the estimated construction start. And the completion is about 2023 for the automated people mover and the central rental car facility, consolidated rental car facility, excuse me. So, as you know, there are environmental studies that must take place on any major project, and so that has been done, as you can see, CEQA and NEPA. So that's the national one will be the first quarter of next year. So this is all in process. Now, this is what I wanted to really emphasize for you today, is the Small Business Enterprise Program at the airport. This program that we hope to encompass a lot of small businesses, that especially the veterans, the veteran-owned businesses, disabled vets. So going over, I think I covered some of this, although I didn't mention that we just did products and services and supplies. We purchased over $500 million worth a year. So once again, the Small Business Enterprise Mandatory Subcontracting Program for bids and proposals on construction, professional, and non-professional services over $150,000. And I went over this again, and to make sure that you know that this is a standalone program exclusive to the airport. It's not part of the Port of Los Angeles Small Business Program. And then once again, as I designate here, the airport, Los Angeles World Airports, encourages the use of emerging business enterprise and disabled veteran business enterprise certified with the state of California. I do want to mention that they have the fastest certification. If you have not done certifications, the SB certification with the state of California is a lot faster than the city of Los Angeles. Unless you have no certifications at all and you want to have the small business enterprise certification with the airport, I'm going to show you there. We have two analysts that are just work on airport applications for the SBE program. So those are fast tracked. Yes.
Is there any advantage to that?
Oh, absolutely.
Certified through LAX as opposed to the regular state? Because the DVBEs, they have 3 or 4 different organizations that you apply through and register. So you're saying that Los Angeles Airport also...
We recognize them highly, yes. All you have to do is attach your current certification, and you don't have to do anything else. Nothing. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So once again, this is that unpaid or the underpaid right here. 10% of the unpaid or underpaid, it's a penalty. And then, of course, disclaimer here that if the airport changes the function of a particular part of a facility and the subcontractor then that was brought into the project to handle that, of course, then there would be no penalty. So once again, to all of your questions, who should apply? Should it be me? I mean, do I have any of these certifications? The disadvantaged business enterprise, which is a federal, right here. Every state has their own application process for this program, this federal program. And so if you choose to do, or if you already have a DBE, we honor that. Okay, we honor the 8A. We honor metros and also women different certifications. Okay. So if you're not currently certified, so you need to participate and you want to or plan to participate on a program, then you need to get going. So, like I said, the 8A or the State of California Small Business Program, that's kind of the way I would go. So, answer all these questions. All this information is at our airport's website, lawa.org. Right.
I have an interesting perspective. Those contracts valued at less than $150,000, could they be sole sourced to sort of help bridge the gap?
The City of Los Angeles, good question. We have a small and local business certification, and we have a local business preference program. So the small and local business is for under $3 million, and so there is a 10% preference on that. And with some of our projects, but the small and local is usually just for supplies because it's for things that are under $100,000. Yeah, so.
So like an IDIQ, indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity.
Right, and you can get that information on my table out there, and I can, all the phone numbers and the websites for all the buyers at the airport, along with all the commodities that they represent. There is a list, I brought that, and it's on the table. So please take advantage of that. Okay. So here are the ladies, right here, Angela Della Rosa and Kelly Kim. They are airport employees, but they handle the small business enterprise applications for any business owner seeking to do business with the airport and are looking to fill out this an application for the SBE. So to get any information, here's this information here as well. Now, some of this information, I have all of that information on the SBE program. I brought flyers, and those are also on this table. So please pick up those. Here's my information. I have some business cards, and I'll put them back out on the table as well. And I'd just like to entertain any more questions about what's going on at the airport.
Hi, ma'am. My name is Dale Sims. On one of your charts, you have emerging business enterprise, EBE. Could you explain in detail what that is?
That's a smaller level, it's a business that's just starting, really doesn't have a revenue base that you can look at, and not, any past history, maybe up to just a year or less than 3 years, and their revenue is very low. Yeah, that's an emerging business, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hold it up.
So for our veterans, and a lot of transitioning veterans who want to be entrepreneurs and want to start their own businesses, that EBE program, along with their veteran certification, would be ideal as to, okay.
Jordan Davis from Dynamic Advancement. I had a question, actually two. One, is there a digital copy of these slides?
All of this information is at lawa.org. Everything I copied.
Gotcha.
I grabbed, copied.
Okay. Second question is,
Yeah.
are these jobs that are available, is there anything on the social media and branding side of the house? or any of those things, or is this more focused on the actual physical supplying and manufacturing?
That's a good question, because I have that purchasing a document out there at the table that lists all the buyers and the commodities that they represent. And then I pulled down yesterday from the Los Angeles Business Assistance Virtual Network website. That's the City of Los Angeles website that all businesses need to register in order to be notified of any upcoming opportunities in your profile. And you know, they use the NAICS code, you know, the North American Industry Classification System. Okay, so when we post, whether it's to buy trucks or to build a building, they always put the NAICS code. They don't categorize, they'll put the number. So when you register at the LABAVN website, make sure that you have your number or expand that number. So you'll get notification within 24 hours after a bid or proposal or a request for qualification is posted to that website. Okay. Did I answer your question?
Yep. Thank you.
So if there's nothing else, I'm going to turn it back over. And I really appreciate this opportunity to speak to you about what's going on at the airport. And please take advantage of some of the materials that I brought today. Thank you.
Thank you. Rose Cote, I apologize for mispronouncing your surname before. I also would like to apologize for the technical problems. I don't know if any of you have given PowerPoint presentations or spoken in front of a group, but if you do, you probably know that when you prepare something to go in a certain way and then it goes wrong, it can be very disorienting. But Ms. Cote handled it like a true pro with great poise, so I salute her for that. And thank you all for your very interesting questions. So we have one more speaker before we break for lunch, and it is John Bollinger. Professor Bollinger is affiliated with Cal State Long Beach. He's the former city planner for Long Beach, and he's an architect, and he's involved in overseeing mega construction projects, and we're very honored to have him here today. Please welcome John Bollinger.
Hi, I know that we're about ready for lunch, and we've had a lot of great presentations this morning, so I'm going to try to keep it brief. A lot of things that have been said touched on things that I would have pointed out. I think to begin with, I wanted to simply acknowledge I have not been in the service. However, my uncle was on the Missouri when Japan gave up in the Bay of Tokyo, and my daughter is a lieutenant commander in the Navy and has been in now for about 14 years and is on a major mission right now. Won't go into the detail. It's not that it's top secret, but it's a big story. And I'm really proud of her, as you can imagine. Yes?
Just before you start, because the crowd is not as big as we had anticipated with the time frame for lunch, I think you can do the presentation and we'll be okay. We gave an hour and 10 minutes, so.
Okay, you're not that hungry. Okay.
Don't feel rushed, but don't go more than 2 hours.
That's fine. I can go as long as you want, but my plan was 15 minutes. Let's see what I can do, if I can indeed do it in less than 15 minutes. What I really wanted to start with, and this kind of inspired me in my speech, there was a Bill of Rights that was drafted by Franklin Delano Roosevelt in 1945. And here are some of the things that it says, and it relates directly to what we're talking about. It included just some basic things. The right to a useful and remunerative job in industry, shops, or farms, or mines in the nation. The right to earn enough to provide adequate food and clothing and recreation. The right for every farmer to raise and sell his product. You can put, instead of farmer, anybody in manufacturing, at a return which will give him and his family a decent living. The right of every businessman, large and small, to trade in an atmosphere of freedom from unfair competition and domination by monopolies at home or abroad, the right of every family to a decent home, the right to adequate medical care and the opportunity to achieve and enjoy good health, the right to adequate protection from the economic fears of old age, sickness, accident, and unemployment, and last but not least, the right to a good education. That was, do you have a question?
Yeah, can you tell us again where you got that? Is
There's an article actually by Bill Moyers in which he calls this the Second Bill of Rights, drafted by Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and it was just so inspiring. Where is that? You know, have we been able to live up to that in our society? And I think part of what we're talking about here is some ways in which the average person, the middle class, part of what Roosevelt did was he helped to create the middle class in the 50s. Well, it was before the 50s, after World War II, but that triggered, and the returning veterans at that time, of course, that triggered the development of what we think of as the middle class in this society, the development of homes and a mortgage system that people could actually afford. I can go on with that, but you see where I'm going with that. We need to come back to something like that in our society. And, how does that relate to my subject? Well, I've spent over 40 years, I was motivated to go into architecture because I wanted to build some houses to help people. That was my motivation. I got sidetracked along the way. I ended up getting a doctorate in architecture and then going on to work in mass production of housing for a large home builder where we were doing 10,000 housing units a year. And I learned what it takes to do something like that back in the days before we had the level of computing and computer capabilities that we have now. My doctorate was actually a study prior to the existence of CAD on how to deal with three-dimensional design and development. And I developed some mathematical models and so forth. I can talk about that separately. But I had that in my head. I worked with some major mentors. I don't know whether any of you know Buckminster Fuller, the father of the geodesic dome and many other things. And he was a visionary. And he said, the wealth is here. It's not money. It's the mind of man, and we have that capability today to capitalize on that. And so in my career, I've asked myself, what do we need? Why should we be doing this or that? I ended up working as a master planner for the city of Long Beach, master planning large parts of the city which are now built. I worked as a master planner for the Port of Long Beach. We heard about the airport and the port. I worked for the Port